Today's holiday is more than just about the past. It grapples with the effect slavery still has on generations to this day. And the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center helps tell that story. They're located about 5 hours away in Cincinnati, Ohio, where I took a trip to learn more.
Juneteenth is a celebration. It's a festival that symbolizes the abolition of slavery. Starting out in Galveston, Texas, when they were notified of them being free, being emancipated.
To kind of put it in perspective, people think that slavery kind of happened a long time ago, right? But we're only separated a few generations away from that. Can you talk about the impact of Juneteenth and why it really matters?
It's very significant. You must first really understand the impact of enslavement on this country, how economically this country benefited from it, not just southern states, but the entire country, even states in the north. But it undermined family, especially the black family. And so right here, this letter gives you indication of the dollar amount that was involved.
And it's to see dollar amounts on human beings, $400 to $425 for field women, as it says there. 2 men that cost $900, 1 child worth $100. To buy somebody, a kid, for $100 is, we spend $100 maybe on our cable.
In the same context, you're talking about men, women, and children. You're talking about corn and flour. People of color were a commodity. This is a slave pen, and this is John William Anderson's slave pen. It was found about 50 miles away from the city of Cincinnati, outside of Augusta, Kentucky.
This same wood?
Yes, this wood right here.
This is what our ancestors put their hands against?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this right here is what slaves were bound to?
Yes, specifically men. The enslaved men were taken onto the second floor. There would have been a trap door right through here that led you to a whole second floor. The men were the biggest threat, was considered the biggest threat of escaping, hence they were bound on the second floor. Women and children were unchained down here on the first floor. Mothers were sold away from their children. Fathers were sold away from their children. Families were broken by the institution of slavery. And so when you talk about Juneteenth, what a lot of people did is after that emancipation, they went looking for their family members. No, the language of the Emancipation Proclamation, it freed all those enslaved in the rebel states. Keep in mind that though it was drafted in 1862, it wasn't signed until January 1st of 1863. The politics, what to do with those who were formerly enslaved. And so you start to have the era of Reconstruction. You have the Reconstruction Amendments, which are the 13th, 14th, and 15th Amendment.
The 13th Amendment, we get a lot of discussion about that today because it still has some ripple effects to today.
Absolutely. To paraphrase in Section 1, it says that slavery or involuntary servitude has been outlawed except as a form of punishment for a crime you've been duly convicted of. And so with that 13th Amendment, it shows a transference of enslavement into the criminal justice system.
Part of, the celebration of Juneteenth is reckoning with the question of how free are we?
We have to redefine what freedom is, and if freedom is inclusive. The freedom for me to do what I want to do and have opportunity, if that hinges upon you being suppressed, if that hinges on you being oppressed, then is that really freedom?
A question we're still wrestling with today. Special thanks to the National Underground Railroad Freedom Center in Cincinnati, Ohio for welcoming us through their amazing museum. It's only about 5 hours away, making it the perfect trip for your family to learn some more about your history and the history of this country. Head over to thefreedomcenter.org to plan your experience today.